students, today we will discuss lesson number 6 of history, the Great Uprising of 1857. So this year 1857 is very important in the history of India, as this was the first time in Indian history when Indians started to revolt against the British rule unitedly. So let us start with this chapter. After 100 years of conquest and administration, the East India Company faced a massive rebellion that started in May 1857 and threatened British rule in India. So, when it was near about 100 years of the establishment of not British here, East India Company's rule here in India, this was first time the massive rebellion means where many people took part in this revolt, and this was a danger for the British rule here in India. This rebellion is known by different names. Some are calling the revolt of 1857, some are calling the spy mutiny. Spy mutiny means a kind of rebellion that was started by the spies, by the soldiers, and also the first war of independence. So by different names this revolt is called. The revolt of 1857 was the result of the accumulated grievances, means the increased injustice of the Indian people against the company's administration and of their strong dislike of being ruled by a foreign power. So first reason was that the injustice that was done by the East India Company, it was increasing day by day. And another thing was Indians, they dislike to be ruled by some foreign power, and that's why some historians have termed it as first war of independence. So these are the reason why it is called as first war of independence. Okay, next is, there had been earlier revolts of the Indian people against British rule due to the discontentment and distrust that was simmering among all sections of Indian society. So earlier also some kind of revolts were organized by people, but they were not unitedly started, and this has resulted in several local rising in different parts of country which had been put down by the company, so that were crushed by the company. Now we are talking about the revolt of 1857. In its origin, the revolt of 1857 was essentially a military rising caused by discontent in the army. So in the beginning of this revolt of 1857, the reason was that the Indian military or the Indian soldiers, they were not happy with the policies of British rule, so they started a kind of a revolt. That's why it is known as, some scholars are calling it as a sepoy mutiny. But it took place at time when for various reasons there was much social and political discontentment also. But when this spy mutiny started, or this revolt was started by the spies, at that time India, socially or politically, they were not satisfied because of some policies. So that topics in detail we are going to do. So let us start with the causes. First one is political causes. The accession of Lord Dalhousie inaugurated a new chapter in the history of British India. British India, because India was under British control only. And he functions as Governor General of India from 1848 to 1856. Under him, the British followed an expansionist policy. So, when Lord Dalhousie was appointed here in India as Governor General of India, he adopted few policies that were the policies for the expansion of British rule, or to capture more and more territories of India under the Britishers. So Lord Dalhousie through his policies had added considerable territories to British Empire in India. So just because of his policies, and he was successful in his policies, so he captured many areas, and that areas were annexed by the Britishers or the British government. So let us start with his main policy, the doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse alarmed the ruling classes, who had over the years seen one state after the other passing into the hands of company, because they were seeing that in previous years, one after another, many Indian states were annexed by the Britishers, and this caused a feeling of insecurity, unease, and resentment among the Hindu rulers. So this is why Indian rulers were against the British rule, and they were feeling insecure, and they were having problems with the British rule. They were not satisfied with the British rule, and they just want to end this British rule here. Now we are going to start with that type of grievances of Indian rulers and particular ruler. Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi wanted the company to recognize her adopted son as the heir to the kingdom after the death of her husband. So when Rani Lakshmi Bai's husband was died, and they were not having their natural son, so one son was there, that was the adopted one, and Rani Lakshmi Bai was uh, she was seeking, means she wanted from the company to get recognitions for her adopted son, so that now he could be the next emperor of that area. And on the other side, Nana Sahib, he was also adopted son, and he was the adopted son of Baji Peshwa Bajirao II. And he was not seeking a kind of kingdom, he was seeking for the pension only that was given to Peshwa Bajirao II. And after the death of Peshwa Bajirao II, his adopted son Nana Sahib, he was seeking that pension only. But the company, in its arrogant manner, had turned down such requests. So, but company didn't accept any request, not of Rani Lakshmi Bai and nor of Nana Sahib. It means now these two, Rani Lakshmi Bai and Nana Sahib, they were against the British rule. The company even began to plan how to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. So the Mughal rulers, those who were still ruling here in some parts of India, company was trying to make an end to this Mughal dynasty, and even they removed the Mughal kings' names from the coins that were minted by the company. And in 1849, Governor General Dalhousie announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the family of the king would be shifted out of the Red Fort and given another place in Delhi to reside in. So even Lord Dalhousie announced that after Bahadur Shah Zafar's death, even his family will not live in their residential place, that was Red Fort. They will be shifted to another area. And in 1856, Governor General Canning decided that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king. And later on, it was decided or declared that Bahadur Shah will be the last emperor. After his death, no one from his family or no one from this dynasty will be the rulers. They will only call the princes. Lord Dalhousie had annexed Oudh. So here they annexed the area of Jhansi and the kingship of Nana Sahib. Then here they started to move against the Mughal dynasty and end up the Mughal rule here in India. Now next was Oudh. Lord Dalhousie had annexed Oudh to British Empire on the pretext of mismanagement. So here they got one excuse of mismanagement, that the administration was not running properly by the ruler of this area, and most of the country was under British Raj. So up to this time, maximum area was under British control only, and those states which were not directly under them had the British residents in their courts. It means those states that were not directly under British control, but they had to make some British official as residents, means in the court of the rulers they will um, agree, or they will give permission to some British officials to present there. And when British officials are present in between them in the court, it means those rulers cannot do something that will be against the British rule. It means they will not dare to fight against the company, because these residents will aware about each and everything, or each and every action that those rulers were about to take. So this was the political causes. So under the political causes, main things are, or the main grievances are or were of the rulers. Those states were annexed by one or some another reason by the East India Company, and those areas were annexed by British Raj. Then is social and religious causes. So when we are talking about social, means something related to society. When society, it means that problem is related to all the people, and religious, that the thing that are related to our religion. So let us start. First, the English introduced a number of changes in the Indian social life and customs. Like, so many changes were introduced here in India by the Britishers, like they abolished sati system, and child marriage was not allowed now, and widow remarriage was allowed, and girl child infanticide, it was banned. It was a crime now if someone will kill their girl child after the birth, or in that child's infancy, very early age, so it will be, or that was a crime. And the orthodox Hindu, means those who don't want to change their behavior, or those who don't want to change their attitude or their customs, that type of orthodox Hindu, they regarded these kind of things as a threat for their religion, for their society. Okay, so the Orthodox Hindu regarded these innovations as an interference in their social setup. So according to them, Britishers were interfering in their social setup, and that was not accepted by anyone. And the second, the Christian missionaries made criticism of Hindu and Islam. So the Christian missionaries that were established by East India Company, they started to criticize Hindu and Islam, and they tried to convert Indians to Christianity by propaganda and by offering them good jobs or positions. So they were trying to convert Indian people religion into Christianity. For that, they were adopting many different type of propagandas. Sometimes they were offering them good jobs, good position, and sometimes some other thing. Third, the introduction of railway meant that untouchable would also travel in the same compartments as Brahmins. So during that period of time, untouchability was in practice, and other section of society, they don't want even to touch those persons. But when railway was introduced here in India by the Britishers, now in the particular apartment, all the Indians, whether they were that untouchables, that it was declared that time only, not now, or they were Brahmins or from some other section, they all had to travel in that particular one compartment only. And the orthodox section, they considered it as an attempt to defame their religion, because they were thinking if they will travel with the other untouchables, it will spoil their religion. Fourth, the government made teaching of Christianity in government schools and jails obligatory. It means it was made that by law it is must to meet teaching of Christianity in government schools, even in jails also. So because it was must, it means Christianity will means the teaching of Christianity will be there. It means all have to learn the things related to Christianity, and it was against our religion or religious beliefs. Then a law of 1850 provided that a convert to Christianity from any religion would be entitled to inherit ancestral property. So this was the policy of Britishers only. So they announced that anyone, if they will convert their religion, they will convert into Christianity, now they will be eligible to inherit their ancestors property. It means if someone wanted their ancestors property, they will convert their religion into Christianity, and then they will be eligible to get that. And this was an indirect encouragement to the people to embrace Christianity. So directly or indirectly, this was uh, tried by the Britishers to establish Christianity, to popularize the Christianity here in India. Then 6 says the spread of Western culture and English education was resented by Orthodox section of society, as they thought it to be an affront to their authority and influences. So when British started to spread their British culture or Western culture, and in educational institutions, English education was introduced, and even some institutions were totally English medium. And the Indian Orthodox section of our society, they were feeling that in this way, while introducing English education and Western culture, they were trying to insult the authority and influence of their own culture and their own religion. Means their own means the religion and the culture of Indians. All these measures produced resentment in the general public. So just because of all these social and religious causes, it was the cause behind the feeling of anger in the hearts or in the minds of general public. Means simply we can say, just because of these reasons, Indian common men, they were angry with the Britishers, so they were just revolt against the Britishers in 1857. So next causes we will discuss in our next video. Till the time, just watch this video up to social and religious causes, and if any doubt is there, you can message me. Goodbye.